Hey brothers and sisters, as some of you may have noticed, I have changed over my intro. I was having problems from YouTube flagging things, saying that there was copyright issues. I provided them all of the necessary documentation to prove that everything was fine, but they're a big company that's run very poorly in a lot of ways, so until things get cleared up, we're just going to intro my videos with some cool artwork done by me. One Piece, Chapter 41, To the Sea. Hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as per usual, am Jim, here to give you, or bring you, another review on the classic and epic, long-running saga of One Piece. Our last chapter saw everything kind of wind down a little bit. It was entitled Usopp's Pirates, as the main focus was Usopp talking to his minions, Pepper, Onion, and Carrot, and explaining to them that he, in fact, had made the decision to, journey out to sea, to kind of fulfill his heritage as a great pirate, his family namesake, and then there was several other things that happened, but it was pretty much a wrap-up, chapter. This chapter, and a little bit slower as far as, the 5 or 6 prior had been just crazy balls-to-the-wall action. But you need to have breaks in that. You can't always be at a high. You have to have some peaks and valleys of things, and then to move the story forward. And that's what we're doing here. So this one starts out with Luffy and Nami and Zoro eating at the local inn, and we're treated to a funny kind of picture of Luffy, because he does seem a little bit dim-witted in a lot of senses. He's directionally challenged. He just doesn't seem to operate on the same level of thinking as some normal people do. But I mean, I guess who might I say what normal is? But anyway, he's eating they're both eating fish, and he goes and he's got his hand jammed in his mouth, And of course he can stretch, like rubber. He's got his hand in his mouth, and he goes and pulls, just, oh, damn bones, they got to work on deboning these things better. He eats an entire fish with the bones in it, and as opposed to actually deboning it like most normal people do. And even Nami says, you've got to learn how normal people eat. What the hell is wrong with you? So anyway, as they're in the inn or the diner or whatever, the local establishment for eating, Mistress Kaya walks in, and they greet her, and and then she talks with them a little bit and says, you guys will be on your way, but I heard that I understand that you need a ship. So the panel kind of ends where the page ends with the next panel and Luffy going, "You're going to give us a ship?" Because that's what he had asked for, I don't know, 8-10 chapters ago, right before everything happened with Clador and Kuro. We then go in and see Usopp packing his belongings, and it's kind of funny. He's got, if anybody has ever seen the cartoon or the Jim Carrey movie, The Grinch, when he goes and steals all the Christmas trees and toys and everything, he's got this giant bag that's just bigger than him, bigger than the sleigh he's got it on. And that's kind of what Usopp's bag looks like, this duffel bag that he's packed in, he's going to carry with him. And he flops himself down in the bed and he says, "Oh, God, all right, finally got everything packed, And then in the next panel, he's got it on his back. It's like a backpack. He's got the straps, and it's caught in the door, and he's like running in place, He's like, "Nah, I packed all this hard work, can't even get through the damn door." Next thing you know, he squeezes through and starts like rolling like a snowball effect, him attached to the bag, rolling down the hill towards the woods. And I just thought it was quite funny. So we then are treated, or not treated, but we go to actually seeing our ship for the first time, and the ship is actually nice. It's a caravel or a caravel, and which is from what the sidebar said, it's a certain type of ship that is common to this age and to this world in the 15th century in this particular world. But Mary, if you remember the Mistress Kaya's servant that was stabbed by Kuro and lived to tell the tale. This is his ship. He built it, or he designed it, and him and Mistress Kaya are there, and so that's kind of where they went. Obviously, from the inn, she took them down, Luffy, Nami, and Zoro, to basically say, "Here, listen, you did wonderful things for us. You saved the town, and the least we can do to repay you is to give you this ship." So Luffy winds up going, and then Mary says, "And it's stocked with all the provisions you'd need, and this and that," right? And he's describing it, and Luffy goes, "Oh, that's like adding insult to injury." And this is where it shows how he's kind of dim-witted in his thinking. He doesn't understand what that really means. Add insult to injury it's when somebody does something negative and then they pile on more negatives, not good things. And then Zoro even says, "You mean icing on the cake, stupid?" You know, that's what you meant to say. So, so it's just some funny character development. While this is all happening, we go and we see, we see Onion, Pepper, and Carrot, and they're talking amongst themselves about how they can't believe that Usopp is leaving, and that he's actually going to leave the village. He loved it so much. He's got to keep the, they got to keep the tradition going and all this other stuff. And that's just a page or two of them, and then it kind of goes back to the ship, and it shows Usopp come rolling down the hill. He's coming down towards them, and he's like, "Hey, please help stop me!" And then in a nice scene, you see from a side view, you see Luffy and Zoro both kind of kick up one leg each, to stop him and hold him. He's like, "Oh, thanks, jeez," And he's planning on setting off on his own voyage. So everybody goes to say their goodbyes, and then he goes and they get on their ship, and he says, and he's waving to him, and he says, "Hey, good luck. Maybe we'll cross paths again sometime." And Luffy goes, "Why?" And he goes, "Well, we were both pirates, and this and that. Maybe we'll encounter each other sometime, and like it to be friendly." And Zoro says, "Get on the ship, numbnuts," and he's like, and Usopp's like, "What?" He can't believe, and Luffy says, "Yeah, man, we're a team, where we fought off Kuro and the Black Cat pirates together, right? Your bravery and your heart and your tenacity is what frickin' got us through this and got us all to fight and be willing to fight for you. Fuck yeah, get on the boat, So he does. He's excited. He gets on the boat. As they start sailing off, Mistress Kaya kind of sits down, slumped against a tree, and some tears start welling up in her eyes, and you can tell that she's sad about Usopp leaving. Maybe she had some feelings for him. Maybe she just who knows? I mean, I'm sure she did have feelings, but maybe she had feelings of love for him too. I'm not sure. That's kind of what they insinuate. But Mary, her servant, goes and says, "What's wrong?" And she says, "Well, and it's bothering me." And he says, "Well, I understand that you miss him, and keeping this secret about what's happened with Clahador and everything else is very important to him." So Mary goes and does a little bit of a rendition of Flashback and gives Mistress Kaya some insight into Usopp. Now, we know that he's considered to be the town liar. He wakes everybody up at dawn every morning saying, "The pirates are coming, the pirates are coming." The backstory of this, and I actually started tearing up when I read it, whatever, man. I got a family, maybe I'm an emotional baby. Just call me what you will, but it really, it struck a chord with me. In the flashback, Usopp, or Mary is explaining that when Usopp, his father left, his father and mother were married, and his father left. He was obviously a pirate and went off with, red-haired Shanks' crew. And shortly after that, his mother became ill, and on her deathbed, the day before she died, Usopp, and he's a young kid at the time, maybe 7, 8 years old, in an attempt to cheer up his dying mother, he ran in and he said, "The pirates are coming, the pirates are coming." And the doctor said, "Don't be such a fool." And the mother said, "No, they're not coming." And he was trying to cheer her up and give her hope to hang on, saying that, Dad's coming, or he's coming back for you. And then he started telling her about there was this medicine, this wonder medicine that grows in a land far away, and we'll get it for you. And that like I said, that was the touching part, because I guess every day ever since, mother died the next day, and every day ever since then, that's just kind of been his way of coping with losing both of his parents, his father going off and his mother dying in front of him. And his way of coping and dealing with that has been by telling these fantastic tales and stories to not allow himself to be hurt. So, it was absolutely, to me, it was a very heartfelt, very touching moment. Some of you may agree or may not agree, and that's completely fine, but that's just my take on it. I'm even getting a little bit choked up talking about it now, because then it flashes back to present time, and even Mistress Kaya, you can see the tears rolling down her eyes. And it just goes to show that everybody has a reason, or a lot of people do, for things that they do. Most people, think that he was crazy for what he did, but that was his way as a young child of being able to cope with the extreme loss of his mother and his father, and then having to basically raise himself. So, the chapter ends up shortly after that. There's a page or two of Usopp and Luffy, Nami, and Zoro all on their new ship, and Usopp kind of says, "Hey, hip hip hooray!" And Zoro kind of jumps up, and they're all excited to go out on their next adventure. And Usopp also mentioned to Mistress Kaya, he said, "Hey, this is great. I'm going out to sea, and when I come back, I'll be able to have some tales to tell you that are actually true." And she says she'll look forward to it, and I forgot to mention that. But let me know what you think, Nation, in the comments down below. hit the like button if you feel I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will definitely catch you in the next one. As always, thank you for watching, brothers and sisters. Be sure to subscribe and take a look at some of my other videos. Thanks. See you next time, Nation.